This is the 2024 Acura RDX A-Spec. Is it the best luxury compact SUV? Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to give you the information to answer that question. And for those who don't watch me regularly, you probably don't know about the Vehicle Visionary discount here at Orr Acura. Not only applies to new cars, doesn't apply to used cars, but what will happen is if you come into the dealership and you mention that you saw the vehicle you want to buy in a Vehicle Visionary video, you will automatically receive $500 off. And this model is set apart in a pretty big way. You can probably already see everything that does that. So let's talk about that and the other features and functionality you're going to find here. By the way, there is one change to talk about for 2024, and that is the fact that all-wheel drive is now standard across all trim levels. You can no longer buy an RDX with front-wheel drive. I don't think that's a bad move on the part of Acura. And as we look at the vinyl that you have here on the hood with the gloss black, it really accentuates the lines on the hood. And one thing that's interesting about that, you may not have noticed this before, but you won't be able to unsee it now, but it really basically plays off of or kind of flows from the Acura logo down here that's on the diamond pentagon grille. You'll see that same shape up there on the hood. And obviously we're going to have the jewel eye LED headlights, the LED daytime running lights. We'll also have LED fog lights down there on the lower portion of the bumper. Quite a bit of gloss black here on the front end. And I told you earlier that you have all-wheel drive. What's the tire and wheel size on this model? Well, we're going to have 255 on our width, good bit of tread on the ground, a 45 series sidewall wrapped around the 20-inch wheels. Now, personally, I think that that's something that should change the color we have right here. If you're going to have all that gloss black here on this vehicle, the wheels should be gloss black too. Tell me what you think about that. And the mirror caps are gloss black. That isn't something that's anything unusual. We also have the turn signal indicators built into these side view mirrors that are power adjustable. They're heated. And we'll also find the handles, the door handles, all wrapped in vinyl black with that vinyl gloss black as well. Also this area right here. So it really helps things to stand out. Some people don't like chrome. So if you had your choice between chrome or gloss black, what would you choose? And obviously, this isn't as unusual from what I understand. I think there are some other dealerships that are doing this, but you'll also see the gloss black wrap here on the roof. So it really matches everything. It matches what we have on the doors, on the front and rear doors here as well. That's gloss black. It makes the window tint look darker than it really is. Not a bad thing. Gloss black shark fin antenna, which is not out of the ordinary, but that's what we have up there, and the rear roof spoiler. And how about the remote? Let me turn around this way and we'll take advantage of the sun to give you a better view of the remote. You can see everything that is here. And we finish things off back here with the LED tail lights, and then we'll have our exhaust outlets. And speaking of the exhaust outlets, what exactly is that exhausting? Let's open the hood and I'll tell you about it. Under the hood is the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's the VTEC engine. It makes 272 horsepower and 270 pounds-feet of torque. And it's mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Let's talk a little bit about the MPGs, or gas mileage. See what the window sticker says. We're looking at, let's pull that into the sun for you a little bit there, 22 city, 27 highway, 24 combined, and 4.2 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And one other area where you find that vinyl, right here on the gas door. And if you're wondering, it does have capless fuel fill. The gas tank size is 17.1 gallons. And one thing that's interesting about the overall look of this platinum white exterior color, balanced with all of the gloss black that's been added, is that it looks a lot like a Range Rover Sport SVR. I'm not saying it has that kind of horsepower, but just something that I thought was interesting. And we'll open the hands-free power rear liftgate. 29.5 to 58.9 cubic feet is what we have as far as our cargo capacity goes. And if you want to maximize that, and see if I can get that seat to go up, there we go. And unfortunately, that seat is too far back in the front. There we go, at least one isn't. And there we go. Now we have everything maximized where you can see all of the cargo capacity that's available. Quite a bit of room back here. A lot of options for storage, and you'll also get a nice vantage point from here to see the panoramic sunroof. There is a power shade that can be drawn forward. If there's too much sunlight coming in or it's too hot or whatever the case is, you can bring the shade forward to take care of that. And to save you some trouble for those who may not know, if you pull the door down and you need to change the height of this rear door, you'll notice it says hold to set height right here. And so what happens is we hold that and we listen for all the beeps. And when we open that door again, you'll notice the door will not go all the way up. I actually had somebody on one of these videos, it may not have been an Acura, it may have been a Honda, but they said, well, how do you return it to default height or stock height, whatever the case is? Well, there really isn't necessarily a default or stock height. So it depends on how it comes set from the factory, but you can open it all the way like this, or you can bring it down to wherever you want it to be. We'll take a look into the ebony interior and see what we have. Let's see how comfortable the armrests are on these rear doors. Very comfortable, actually. Plenty of space right there. Here are the door bins, plenty of space within that area. There's a bottle holder built into the front, but you can use that for a multitude of purposes. And the ebony interior has a very nice look and layout to it. And if you don't want to use those levers in the rear cargo area I showed you to lower these rear seats, well, there's another way you can do it. All you have to do is pull on that release and you're good to go. And there is plenty of room back here. You can see some of the accent as far as what we have here with the different materials. Looks very nice. Fold down armrest with the cup holders built in. And then we finish things off here with the rear air conditioning vents on the rear of the center console for your rear seat passengers and USB connectivity. And a really good shot right here because of where the sun is shining in to see the red contrast stitching. You'll also find that in a couple of different areas as well. It really helps to just break things up. You'll also find a little bit of storage for your rear seat passengers on the rear of both seats. And for those who are wondering about price, well, without any additions, here is the price that you would pay. Now, I will show you the sticker over here that shows you some of the additional information or additional features and some of the different things that have been added to the vehicle. So you can see what's there with that, and you can see the total price of the vehicle as well, which is going to be right down here. You wanted to know? There you go. And I know some of you like to see the window sticker. Kind of hard to show everything. So the best I can do here is just to give you this particular shot, and you can take a screenshot and, well, whatever you want to do. And obviously, there's a lot more to talk about here than what we've seen so far. So let's talk about what we have here with the door panel. Again, nice, comfortable armrest here. Let's take a look at the door bin. Going to be a little larger than what we had in the rear, obviously. That's not unusual. And then right under here, we're going to have the button right there that I push to get the glove box open. In case you make the mistake I did of out of habit reaching for the handle right here, there's a button right there that does the job. So that's a good thing to know about. And we're going to have our dual zone climate control here in the front. And then you'll also have your ventilated and heated seats. You can use auto with that if you want to. For the driver and the passenger seats up here that are power adjustable, by the way, both. And the push button shifter right here. Some people like that, some people don't. What do you think? Tell me what your thoughts are. And right down here, we're going to find connectivity. We're also going to find some cup holders and a little bit of space within the center console to store things. You can also use the center console lid as an armrest. And a quick look at the upper console right here. The sunglass holder is built in, as well as the controls that you would expect to see here for controlling the shade and the sunroof. The sunroof does tilt and slide open. And again, taking advantage of the sunlight, you can see some of the red contrast that we have here. Really nice look. the contrast stitching here. When everything is in just the right light, you can see it really well. Obviously, we're going to have all of the controls and switches here that you expect. You can open and close your power rear liftgate right there, and a couple of settings for seat memory. And then some of our additional features right here as far as what is available. You can turn traction control on and off. There's your power parking brake if you need to use that. And then we have the release right there that allows you to adjust the position of the steering wheel. It is a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. The controls for your exterior lights, headlights, tail lights, and fog lights, everything is right there. And there's even another function of this. Some of you know about that and some of you don't. But over here, I think you do know what's over here because you use your front and rear window wipers when you need those, unlike the blinkers. And right here on the steering wheel, I like the nice large, and they're sturdy. They feel sturdy. They just don't feel like cheap plastic. The shifter paddles for managing that 10-speed automatic transmission we talked about earlier, a very simplistic, but I think modern and even a little touch of elegance with the instrument display, the driver's display right there. Obviously, your button right here to start and stop the engine. Now, the infotainment screen or center screen, you might wonder, why is that so far away? Well, the fact that it's so far away, it's just the way it's built, it's not a touch screen. So, the way you manage that is going to be right here. And I think once you get used to that, it's not that big of a deal. So if I wanted to select something, I'm going to push down on it like that. We select our built-in navigation right there, and there you go. Pretty simple to deal with, I think. And when you go into reverse, you're going to see that you have your multi-view rear view cameras here. We have several different views to work with here depending on what we need to see. And over there on the right-hand side, right over here, you see the likeness of your RDX from above, and that is going to also give you the information to show you what's going on around you with your parking sensors. It'll start to blink and flash in the appropriate area. And we also have different driving modes, dynamic mode as it's called, your different drive modes, including normal. And we'll go down here to sport. You can see the corresponding graphics. You have comfort and you have snow. So a little bit of everything on the end of driving for everybody. Now, if you just had an SVR mode where you could make 518 horsepower or so, I think it's actually more than that with the SVRs. But I tell you what, it'd be nice to have a supercharged V8 under the hood. And one last thing I did want to show you in the interior. USB options here. You also have a 12-volt right here and your wireless charging pad, and all that located here in the pass-through. Okay, we're going to get out on the road for the test drive, and the very first thing I notice is the great handling characteristics here. And obviously that's going to be partly due to all-wheel drive, but the steering is nice and tight. It's very responsive. The steering wheel itself is comfortable, but you just can't beat a vehicle that has good, sharp handling, and you definitely have that here with this RDX. And while some might say, I don't know if it has enough horsepower, well, I guess that just depends on who you are, but for some people, I think 272 horsepower would be plenty. In fact, that's likely for the majority out there. But don't forget, you do have the multiple driving modes that you can use depending on what your situation is. And that's the good thing about having the snow mode here. You not only have an all-wheel drive vehicle, but the snow mode is going to help really get you around if you live in an area where you deal with a lot of snow and ice. And overall, the ride quality is good and comfortable. That's always a plus, no matter what the situation is. And the interior, obviously, nicely done, nicely laid out. It's comfortable. And I like the fact that even though I know there's people out there that are going to say, man, I don't really like the touchscreen, or the lack of a touchscreen, I should say. And I understand that, but I think once you get used to what's here, it's not a big deal, especially if you're coming from a vehicle that didn't have a touchscreen to begin with. You won't know the difference. So I don't know what the future holds with these models, but I would imagine eventually we will see something change where that's concerned. So we'll find out depending on what comes in the future for the RDX. And you obviously have a lot of great safety features here, the typical things you would expect to find, and all that good stuff. So a very well-rounded vehicle, that's for sure. I feel good and comfortable as the driver. I've made a lot of adjustments, but not as much as I probably could because I'm only going to be here for a couple of minutes. But the good thing is that you have complete adjustability with the steering wheel being tilt and telescopically adjustable. Obviously, the seat is power adjustable, so you can adjust that in a multitude of ways. And your side view mirrors. And when you put this model into reverse, the side view mirrors do tilt down, so that allows you to see what's going on behind you. That is always a plus when you're backing up, so especially if you're in a tight spot or whatever the situation is. And then you have your rear view camera and all the different camera views all over the vehicle that definitely help out to make it very easy to navigate your way through pretty much any situation you might face. Okay, tell me what you think down in the comments section. Is the 2024 Acura RDX the best luxury compact SUV? This model definitely has a lot on it that you're not going to find on every other RDX out there. So if you really want to stand out, well, here's an option for you. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Orr Acura for loaning me this model for the day, and a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. That helps me out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't done so just yet. I'll see you in the next video.